What? All right. How do I get rid of it? Oh, there we go. Give me a second. Give me a second. What is making Mac look so slow? Oh. All right. Any better now? Are you good enough to get me here? Ah. What's up, Gamer Talk 8? All right, just gonna let you guys file back in. I'm just gonna have to roll with it if it's not doing well because I don't know, something's up with my laptop. I should have just done this on my desktop from the beginning, but I rushed it and jumped on here. Well, let me close this down. Maybe this will help. All right, goodbye to you. And pull this out. Get rid of those. All right, let's close Firefox. You too. All right. Let's relaunch Finder. See if that speeds us up. What's up, everybody? And it's Berg. How you say your name? Bergen. Josh Brown. Laker Link. Thank you guys for being patient. I don't live stream very often. There's gonna be some hiccups, but I'll make sure I get it right next time. I'm gonna have to change my day because I keep running into OJ streams, and I know a lot of you guys who are fans of me are fans of him, so change my day. I'm too little to go up against that kind of competition. So, all right, who we got in here? Retro, you're back. Bluntsy D. Terrell. Ring Harmony, what's up? NYC Majestic, no doubt. NYC. Laker Link, I don't know if I said your name already, but what's up? Josh Brown, Nuts, Nuts, Mr. Super Average, Snow Bunny 426. All right. My audio's still good. Oh, Rob, what's up? Yes, I'm alive, barely. I don't know what I'm doing, so we'll get started very shortly. I got to sip my juice, my Terminator juice. All right, cool. It's funny you guys are laughing. You see how my audio setup is. Basically, I have my headset and the headset mic pointed directly at me. I got it like latched to this little stool in front of me here. My laptop's on it, so it should be good. It should be just as good as the audio for Juice's Loose podcast and whatnot. So yeah, I figured out it wasn't my mic that was the issue or my headset that was the issue. It was actually the jack in my laptop. It's faulty. So yeah, I don't know about all that right now. Blue Yeti. I love saying it creeping in the background. Yeah. All right, guys, bear with me because, like I said, it's hot in here. I don't know why it's so hot in the Northeast. I know why. It's called global warming, and we're all gonna die. But like the fans are going, and my AC's going, so artificial air messes with my allergies. So you might see me go off to the side and sneeze. I should be looking up there. All right, let me make sure I got everything here. How that's up? Yeah, hot in Canada too. Oh man, we're all dead. We're all dead. A couple more minutes and we'll get going. Where are my topics? Oh, here they go. $40 degrees today. Where are you? Alaska? Antarctica? Gamer Talk, where are you, man? 40 degrees. My goodness. Yeah, I know. Hot in North Kakalaki. Yeah, I know North Kakalaki. That's where my mom's from. My mom is from North Carolina, Raleigh, and she moved, or my whole family moved up to New York, and that's where I was born. So, 199 degrees in Tampa. Tampa. Oh, that's my boy right there. Jeff, what's up, man? Gamer Talk, Toronto, and not Fahrenheit. Yeah, I always get Celsius. Got you. Cali 101. Yeah. It actually got to 105 here a couple weeks ago. It's insane. Oh, it's juice. Yeah, it's approve it. V8 splash. There's nothing in it. I ain't gonna do all that on a live stream. That's not cool. 104. Wow. All right. All right. Topics for today. Like I said, this is my. You guys, you know that I had. I think I did like 2 Tea Talk podcasts back in the day, maybe like 2015, something like that. And it was basically, it was going to be my podcast. But you know how I start a lot of stuff and I don't keep it going because it's tough for me with my schedule. So, but I'm hoping to do this regularly. It's not going to be regularly starting this Friday and on, but eventually it will be a regular thing. I'm thinking of moving it maybe to Thursday nights because I don't want to, like I said, I want to compete with other guys in the community here who are bigger than me. So, what's up, bad latency? For a minute, I thought somebody wrote bad latency. It's been so hot, my car literally blew a gasket. Wow, I know what that's like. Yeah, the weatherman. That's me. It's funny because the weather forecasters here, I don't know why they get paid because they're never right ever. But yeah, okay. Do you have any? Who's this? 12 feet tall. What's up? Do you have any old Nintendo Power magazines? Yes, I have probably 100 or so. Probably in the high 8 or high 70s, somewhere around there. I showed them way back in the day on my channel. Way back in the day, like 3 years ago. I was thinking about doing like a show where I show. A show where I show, yeah. A show where I kind of go through old Nintendo magazines and look at topics and stuff like that, see what people were talking about. back in the day. I think that might be cool. Maybe I'll resurrect that. I have the first issue signed by Miyamoto. Nice. Nice. All right, so let's get it going. Now, as Mr. T would say, enough jibber jabber. All right, so topics for today. We're going to start off with Diablo 3 for Switch, which I think is very cool. Then we're going to move into the rumors about new Super Mario Deluxe for Switch, basically deluxe version. We're going to do what I call Emulation Entitlement, which I know is very popular, my opinion on that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Nintendo's 2018. I did a video a little bit ago, and we're just going to go over that a little bit more. So, yeah. First up, Diablo 3. My history with Diablo is Diablo 2. Played it back in the day on PC. I was a fan of dungeon crawlers because, I don't know, there's something cool about just crawling around in a dungeon and just, you know, leveling up, all that cool stuff. Because I'm more into action RPGs, or at least at that time I was. I'm a little bit more into standard RPGs now. But I was more into action RPGs, and I got a couple games here. I'm sure you guys know. There. Can you see it? Yeah. Gauntlet Legacy. Actually got this for N64 as well. And so my dungeon crawling actually started on the NES with the first Gauntlet game. And we got too much light. There we go. Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance. Love this game. GameCube. Like I said, Diablo 2. I think I played that right before I basically stopped gaming on PC, which was like around 2005, 2006. Basically, when I went to film school, that's when I changed over to Mac, and life has been so much better. But yeah, and I was getting the Xbox 360 around that time. And I was like, well, I don't really need a PC anymore because these games are, I was stupid. These games are pretty much on par at that time. You know, I wasn't thinking about how quickly, you know, technology evolves and all that stuff. So I was just like, oh, I'm kind of done with PC. I got my Mac. It's expensive. I needed it for school. And so I played some Diablo 2 on that before I got rid of it. Like I said, I like dungeon crawlers. I like those games. And I think this was probably the last quote-unquote dungeon crawler I had. Let's see if I can. There you go. Love this game, Heroes of Ruin on 3DS. If you don't have this game, if you are a fan of these style of games, this was really good. What was cool about this is that I guess it's cool, but yeah, it is cool because you could voice chat on 3DS. And then we got the Wii, and Nintendo forgot how to do voice chat. But anyway, so yeah, I like dungeon crawlers. I like the aesthetic. I like the top-down kind of look to them. And, you know, they're fun. So I think there was a while ago they were talking about, you know, the rumor for Diablo 3. And then Blizzard made that little, was it a Twitter thing or some kind of little video where they had like a little light switch that looked like the whatchamacallit from Diablo. And they flicked it or whatever, which meant like Diablo switch. So we pretty much knew at that point. And for some reason they are still like saying that wasn't an indicator. Like that wasn't a, what do you call it? A hint that the game was coming. But I don't know why deny it at this point. I mean, I thought it was pretty clever. So yeah, so I saw Heroes of Ruin in the chat here. Who said they liked it? Virtual Dev loved Gauntlet. Yes, me too. Obviously. Vampire Hunter. Yes, I do. Actually, I do have Vampire Hunter on PlayStation 1. I got too many games. Yeah, so Did I hear the development time was 9 months? Yes, I did hear that, Juice. And you guys probably, some of you probably remember, like, I think it was in the Juice Loose podcast, actually, where I was talking about my hopes and wishes for the Switch. It was pretty early on after the Switch came out, and then people were talking about, developers were talking about how it was easy to go from PC to Switch, and I was saying that would be really cool. That'd be a nice niche for Switch to have, like, these PC-style games come into it. And we're seeing that a lot more on the indie side, but you're starting to see that on the kind of AA games as well, and obviously with Diablo 3, I guess, you know, it would be considered AAA. With Diablo 3, you're seeing it with those two, like point-and-click adventures and stuff like that. Those are games I was really into back in the day on PC. So I think this is really cool. Like, I mean, dungeon crawlers they're a very PC style of game, and that was one of the genres I really like. Like I said, I love point-and-click adventures on PC. Love RTSs, real-time strategies. Played StarCraft back in the day. I wasn't all that great at it, but I still liked it. And obviously, dungeon crawlers. And so when I think of PC games, when I used to think of PC games, what that meant to me was like games that you really didn't see on console or didn't really work well on console, like RTSs and even dungeon crawlers to some extent. I think they work better, but you saw those games more on a PC. So yeah, like I said, it's really cool to see. I mean, Blizzard hasn't supported Nintendo console since the N64, since basically since StarCraft. I mentioned that, so it's really cool. Blizzard does World of Warcraft as well, right? That's who does WoW. I never got into that series. I was always too afraid. I was afraid it might take my life, you know, take over my life, I should say, not kill me. But yeah, so let me read some of you guys' messages here. Don't sleep on Champions of NORAD. I've heard of that. Never played that. Don't want to sidetrack you too much. Why not announce this at E3? Yes, I was going to get to that. Thank you, Juice, for pointing that out. This is a game that would have really been good, to use bad English, for E3. It would have been a nice, but you know, like I said, people assumed this game was coming. There was rumors about it coming, but it would have been a nice rollout at E3. I mean, I mean, you had, what was it, Forbes that kind of screwed up the reveal. So even when they announced it, it was just like, we already knew. So why not get it out there when the rumors were still kind of fresh? Why not put it out at E3? It wasn't like Fortnite took all the thunder, and obviously the reason was Smash, because they wanted to really focus on Smash, and which is fine, but they didn't really focus on Smash the way they should have. Again, this last Direct was a better. We'll get into that later. That's a topic later, but yeah, Juice, you're right. It should have been it should have been an E3 reveal, because it's kind of a big game. You know, it's a big deal because because Blizzard, like I said earlier, hasn't supported Nintendo console in forever. So N64, and that was, you know, hardly anybody really bought that game. So, I mean, it is what it is. All right. Yeah, I actually participated in your poll, Juice, and you said 65% of people felt this announcement was equal to or on par with Doom. And I was one of those 65%. I also feel like this game, because it's very similar if you think about Blizzard and you think about Bethesda and their output when it comes to Nintendo consoles. Very, very similar. Because both of them, obviously Bethesda moved into consoles more, but, you know, Bethesda to me back in the day was a PC developer, and so was Blizzard. And they've, you know, as consoles have gotten more PC-like, they've kind of slid into the console realm. So, yeah, you know, I agree. I think it's on par. Some people may feel, oh, Doom is a bigger game. I guess in some rights, Doom is bigger, but in some rights, I think, oh my God, what are we talking about? Diablo 3 is bigger too, so in its own right. So yeah. All right, what else we got here? Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say. Like I said, I like dungeon crawlers, and I would say Gauntlet is probably my favorite series as far as that goes. And with Dark Alliance, Baldur's Gate right behind that. And there was another one on Xbox original. It was kind of a parody type of game. I think it was called Bard's Tale. That was also kind of cool. But it was kind of more kind of making fun of like Dark Alliance or Baldur's Gate games, and kind of making, not making fun of them, but parodying. That's a better word. Like parodying them. And so, yeah, that was pretty cool, too. But let me read some of you guys' comments here. This thing lagging. Speaking of lag. What if Diablo had, Nico asks, what if Diablo had Fire Emblem skins and weapons, or throw a little Zelda in it? Well, Diablo is getting Zelda. It's getting Ganon basically as a playable character. Is that right? And they're adding some Legend of Zelda stuff. So, yeah, so it's gonna happen. I don't know about, obviously Fire Emblem. It's a different story, but Fire Emblem, it doesn't fit as well as probably Zelda does, but it will still fit. You know, I think it still fits. Let's see. Surreal Entertainment asks, Warframe should also have been. Oh yeah, you're just saying the same thing. Should have been an E3 reveal. Rob, Nintendo could cut 10 minutes off the Smash and add a Diablo, Doom, Warframe, and spend some more time. Yes. Obviously, Doom Eternal got announced, but it was kind of like a happenstance. It wasn't like they didn't make a big deal out of it, which I thought was cool. But I think once companies stop making a big deal out of this game is coming to Switch, the Switch has arrived basically with third parties. So, but yeah, I mean, that would have made a bigger, better E3, I think. And you know, you could have had half of that and then the other half Smash instead of, I think, what was it, like 70-30 or something like that? All right, so Juice, I looked at the sales of both games, and they're about equal across all platforms. So yeah, they're about, sales-wise, they're about the same. I just meant like industry impact and industry known. But certain different fans would speak differently on it. Some fans would think Diablo was a bigger series to them because they're more into that kind of thing, and then obviously first-person shooter guys would think Doom is their game. So Doom and Diablo sales, yeah. Diablo 3 is bigger than Doom, sold a lot more. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised. What was the canceled GameCube Blizzard shooter? I don't know. I didn't know there was one. I'm going to have to look that up. And you could probably guess why it was canceled, because GameCube didn't do that well. And on the side, speaking of GameCube, Switch is probably getting close to surpassing it soon. So I expect some GameCube shade soon, right? That's what happens, because once the Switch passes you, you got to talk about how terrible the sales was of the console that it passes. So GameCube is going to get some shade, right, about how the Switch passed it up in basically in a year and a half. That's probably not going to happen, because the Switch had more third-party games than the Wii U. Oh, somebody said Star Ghost is the game. Oh yeah, I do remember that actually. Star Ghost, yeah. Two different owners, yeah. What are your thoughts on Overwatch on Switch? Well, I've been thinking for a while. I don't know if I've said it or not. That Overwatch is a no-brainer. Should already be on the Switch, if you ask me. People are kind of pussyfooting and kind of feeling the Switch out, trying to decide what they want to do with it. So I think they missed an opportunity to get on there early. Obviously, Fortnite got on and blew the hell up. So what can I say? I mean, it should be on there. It's funny because before Diablo 3 was announced, Blizzard was all like basically saying they couldn't do it. on the Switch. But now that now that Diablo 3 is coming out, they're all like, yeah, it's feasible. And I'm like, come on, man. It was always feasible. But now that you want your game to sell, oh, yeah, we can do everything. So it's pretty funny. StarCraft Ghost. Yes. Oh, yes. StarCraft Ghost. GC Shade. Yeah, Santiago. I want to see some GC Shade. Say that 5 times fast. Surreal Entertainment. Yo, do you think Night Dive Studios will port the Turok series to the Switch? That is a good question. They're the ones that are like remastering it, right? Yeah. I don't want to say yeah, but it's a no-brainer. I would be there day one because you guys know I love Turok. For N64, the not 360, but the Xbox original one. I think it might have been on PC as well. That game was awful. So not those, but the 3 N64 ones, yeah. That, to me, another no-brainer. That should be something that's done. Any nostalgic type of game series, Switch fans eat it up. So if you got something, speaking of which, I know Retro Death is a big fan of the Darksiders series, and THQ just snapped up Time Splitters, which is very cool. And I was reading that THQ's the team that works for Nordic now are actually some of the old developers from the actual Time Splitter series. So that could hint to a new game, not just ports. Ports would be fine, because that game was pretty. Those games were pretty underappreciated. I think. I don't think they sold great. I don't think they sold terrible, but I think they could have done a lot better. And THQ Nordic is doing their thing. They're being really methodical on how they pick up IPs, and it's pretty good. And I'm looking forward to Darksiders 3. All right, so let me see what we got here. I don't want to miss anybody from here on. Let's actually start off. Go. What's up? Eric Hernandez. Yo, what's up with the new Mario Brothers port? Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Just hold on. My man Turok series bound before Mario Maker. What's that? Turok series among the best. Yep. I feel that way. They were definitely the best looking games on the N64 as well. They pushed the N64's hardware. And occasionally, obviously, there'd be some slowdown and be some frame rate issues. But again, man, like the whole frame rate thing and pixel counting thing, like that's a thing myself, I just started talking about recently. Like I would play games back on the NES, and I noticed slowdown on how your character would flicker when there was too many enemies on screen. To me, that was just part of the game. I didn't think about it. It didn't bother me one way or the other. You know, maybe it caused a kill here and there, a death, I should say. But it's like, get good, son. I mean, that was just part of the game back in those days. It's like there were way cheaper ways to get killed in those games than the frame rate, messing you up from a jump or something. So I don't know. It was Crytek UK who were, yep, that's right. Free Radical Design. That's right, Rock, yeah. Crytek UK. Yep, exactly right. Yes, a new Time Splitters would be awesome, Santiago. Yes, it would. I think that's going to happen because they have the same guys, basically, that did that series. So that frog looked so good. What frog? Oh, that fog. Are you talking about Turok? Yeah, well, so it was funny because some games had that fog and some didn't. So it was just like, how proficient were you? The original Turok had a lot of fog, but 2 and 3 didn't. 2 and 3, they got a grasp of the hardware. Acclaim, Iguana, they got a grasp of it, so it got a lot better. But there were still companies that would, quickly try to throw something out there Titus with Superman 64, garbage. But yeah, Mega Man, Mega Man had slowed down. I was actually thinking of Mega Man Legends on N64 had the fog issue too. But it also had tank controls, but that was the same for the PlayStation version. So, funny story, says Juice, is that I remember the frame rate issues being mentioned in Turok 2 reviews when you ran it at the higher resolution. Yeah, with the RAM, right? The later Turok games use the 4 megabyte RAM expansion pack, and you could go into like a high res mode, and so it would look better. But man, it ran like ass. I don't want to say like, but it definitely ran worse. I'm talking, sub 15 frames. So again, in those days, I didn't care. I wasn't counting frames or any of that stuff. To me, that was just part of the game. I remember playing like Jet Force Gemini, and you would throw those little blue, I forget what they call it, the little blue bombs. You would throw them, and if you had like a bunch of little insect creatures on screen, what do they call the little insect troopers? And they'd explode, and it would be like it would be like pictures. It would be slowly happening, and they would be in slow motion basically because it couldn't handle. Because Rare and Iguana were companies that really pushed Nintendo hardware, especially in '64. So, all right, moving on. N64, yeah, the fog machine. Good one, Rob. N64 is the fog machine that all DJs need. That's good. Surreal Entertainment. Can you educate me on what times? Oh my goodness, my man. You got a GameCube? Because if you got a GameCube, you got to find Time Splitters 2. Because I don't think the original Time Splitter, you'd be better off probably with the PlayStation because it had all three of them. It had Time Splitters, which I really didn't play. I didn't like it as much. Time Splitters 2 is the one I played the most because it felt the most like GoldenEye on the N64. Like, that was the team that made GoldenEye. Even down to the health meter, it looked just like 007's health meter on N64. So, but yeah, you gotta. I would say, I don't know. I would actually say wait because it's going to happen. They're going to remaster them or put out a new game. I think they're going to do both. I think they're going to remaster them and put out a new game. So I would say wait for the high res, better frame rate version that's going to come out probably within a year to get that port. What do you call it? The remaster. So I would say wait for that, but Time Splitters is dope. Like, it's the humor in it was great, and obviously the shooting mechanics were great. It was the GoldenEye team. So, what else can I say? A lot of people think GoldenEye doesn't age well, Terminator Juice, but I still play it. I still love it. I see more and more videos about how people don't like the N64 controller and how was it good for shooters. Are you kidding me? It was the best console for first-person shooters. So I don't know. If you don't know how to hold the controller, read the damn the little instruction that came with it. There's a little instruction that showed you the different ways to hold this freaking controller. It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, where you at? Probably the first time I ever heard of someone talk about the resolution and frame rate was Turok 2. Yeah, I remember that actually. I remember reading that in probably GamePro or something back in the day. I loved. I just lost the chat. It's been flickering, so give it a sec. Oh, there we go. I love. Lakerlink says I love All-Star Baseball from Acclaim. Yes, me too. I have All-Star Baseball 99 through 2000, I think, on N64. And I have the GameCube one, which is 2002. So I love that series. Hard. The pitching especially. But again, get good, son. That to me, that was part of the game. The learning curve was just part of that game. Juice, I didn't have any Nintendo friends to play with on the GameCube, so didn't buy split screen multiplayer games. Yeah, I heard you talk about that before. That is pretty sad. For me, that was pre and then entering college. So, I used to have friends at my apartment all the time, sometimes to the chagrin of my former roommate. But that would be, you know, our third, because Thursday nights was college night in our city back then, and probably still is. And so we go to Applebee's or whatever, because they have free, or not free, but they have cheaper drinks that night, and then we just start there, get our drink on, and then go back to the crib. Have some rum, some vodka, play Mario Kart. What was it? Double Dash, Mario Kart Double Dash, Melee, obviously, Gauntlet Legends for GameCube. Fun, man, fun times. So yeah, I feel bad for you, Juice, that you didn't have any GameCube friends at the time. I wouldn't say I had GameCube friends, but I had friends that played the GameCube. They come over my house and play. So I didn't really know that many people that owned the GameCube either. Obviously, it was a console that didn't sell all that great. And then Microsoft jumped in, so it was the waters were a lot muddier. So yeah, where are we? I'm gonna read a couple more, then move on to the next topic here. The first level of Time Splitters 2 is Laker Link, right? The first level of Time Splitters 2 is basically the dam level from GoldenEye. So if you play GoldenEye 64, or not GoldenEye 64, people call it that, but it's GoldenEye 007. If you played that, then that level, the dam, is in Time Splitters 2, which is, when I first saw it, man, I started crying. I just thought that was so cool to see that level back then at a really nice resolution and stuff. So where are we? One more, and then we'll go on to the next topic. It's not that was the GoldenEye. Yeah, that was the GoldenEye team. You didn't know that, Rob? Yeah. All right. GoldenEye on Wii was awesome, though. Awesome to me is a little strong. I did enjoy it. And the reveal at E3 was so epic. I think I cried then too, just to have that. What was the E3 2010? I think it was. I don't know how I keep this stuff in my brain with all the stuff I had to put in my brain. But so all these dates and stuff for games and remembering them all, like, it's crazy. But yeah, I think it was 2010. I think that was the same year where, was it Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was announced? Not Tropical Freeze. Donkey Kong Country Returns, I should say. I think that was announced at the same time. So it was like this whole cool nostalgia thing happening on Wii at the time. So that was cool. Yeah, so let's move on to the next topic. Bring up my... all right, so yeah, there's a rumor about new Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. Not Deluxe, but like a DX version, where they're going to have new Super Luigi U and new Super Mario Brothers U. And to me, that's not enough. I think you would have to probably throw in at least new Super Mario Brothers Wii to make that package complete, especially if it's going to be $60, which we know it's going to be. No less than $50 for sure. But I think you have to at least remaster new Super Mario Brothers Wii for that collection. So you have basically three games. But new Super Luigi U is basically an add-on. Actually, I gotta get my props going here. So there's new Super Mario Brothers U, which my lighting is messing it up. So new Super Mario Brothers U, which came out on the Wii U, obviously, launch title. And I don't hate the new Super Mario style visuals. I just think they're kind of cookie cutter. They're kind of market researched. You know, they don't have enough pizzazz and style in them. But I did like this game because I felt like it was a lot harkening back to like Super Mario World. And so you got the expansion pack, which actually it was like, what was it, $20? Was it that much? It was probably $20 for new Super Luigi U. So I ended up actually buying the cartridge as well, or cartridge, listen to me. Buying the disc as well, because I wanted to have this case, but because this came out later. It was only offered as DLC. Let me see if I can angle it a little bit better here. Yeah, so it was only offered as DLC at first, and then they added they put out this later on for the year. Was it Year Luigi that they did this? So yeah, so I should have pulled out New Super Mario Brothers Wii. I also have that too, but I think you need at least these three. I wouldn't say you have to go back to New Super Mario Brothers, the DS game, the original one. It's just weird. And the original New Super Mario Brothers, which I actually think is better. Is a better game than not this one, but New Super Mario Brothers Wii. So if they put that one in, that would be a nice bonus. Be pretty cool. And you wouldn't even have to like remaster that one if you just kind of did what the Wii U did with DS games. So they allow you to play them on there. You could just kind of just do a port of that one. But I think they would have to, you know, I'm sure it wouldn't take much to get New Super Mario Brothers Wii. This is so confusing on there. And then you have New Super Mario Brothers 2, is it? That's the other 3D. That's the 3DS one, the sequel to the DS one. This is so confusing. So yeah, like if they added all 5 of those, that'd be amazing. I don't know if they would do that, but that to me would add the value to it. So at this point, it's just a rumor. I can't say that I'd be surprised if it happened because we have been getting Wii U ports on the Switch, like all these basically. I'm sure I'm missing 1 or 2. So we got Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, Hyrule Warriors. We got the Definitive Edition. We got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which to me is the best value one because they added something pretty big in that. And then we have Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which to me is a slight step backwards. I don't know. Obviously, Bayonetta 2 and 1. And Pokken Tournament. And I'm probably don't have 1. But yeah, like that would be I wouldn't mind it. I'm not sure if I'd buy it, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that would buy it. I mean, in the millions, because New Super Mario Brothers Wii, I think that sold 20 million. The Wii was the disgusting console. So it would be a no-brainer, again, to bring that over. And we need, 2D Marios. I would like a sequel. I'd like a new 2D Mario game way more than I'd like a deluxe collection. But, that's how Nintendo's operating this year. So, and nobody seems to have a problem with it. Well, some of us do. But I would rather have a sequel. But yeah, deluxe collection would make sense. It'd make a whole lot more sense priced accordingly. But, Nintendo's in that Switch gravy train right now. So they're going to make their money, son. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Let me read some of you guys' comments here. I'm a little bit behind. Let me scroll. All right, let new Super Mario die, says Richard. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I don't hate the series, but I feel like it's a very bland, not up to Nintendo 2D Mario standards series. But I like U. I thought U was pretty good. The last 2/3 of New Super Mario Brothers U was amazing. I agree, Terminator. It definitely picked up when I thought it was just going to be another kind of blandish game. It definitely picked up in that last 2/3, like you said. Should be new Super Mario Bros. All-Star. Yeah, I mean, that's probably something they could name it. I don't know if I'd go with Deluxe. They already used that. They could just call it New Super Mario Brothers Collection or All-Stars, which would be cool. It's been a nice harkening back to the Super Nintendo collection of the NES games. So, and those games were remastered, so which I thought were all pretty good. Nintendo guy, my Wii U bundle came with New Super Mario Brothers U and New Super Luigi U on one disc. Oh yeah. So you didn't download it? It came on actually one disc. I guess there was a version out there that had it on the disc too. So yeah, like I said, I picked New Super Luigi up later. I double dipped because I wanted the physical copy. So I picked it up a little later for like $20, $25, something like that. So let's see. Josh Brown, keep going at it. That's surreal. Oh, that's surreal. Sorry. Terminator Juice says Captain Toad was the straw that broke the camel juices. Yeah. I was actually somewhat excited. You remember? I was like, oh yeah. It's got new stuff. I'm happy for that. The price was good. It was $40, just like the original one. But they took away. I mean, I understand technically why they did it. They took away the this 3D World stuff and added in the Odyssey stuff. I get that, but it's not only that. Well, obviously, I wish it would have stayed in with everything, but the control setup on the Wii U to me was designed for the Wii U gamepad. That game, as far as the extra controls you can do for it. So going from that to this weird kind of pointer that's going to be on your screen the whole time, just to me that would be annoying, and I decided against it. But if you haven't played it, and you don't have a Wii U, because I think you still should get the Wii U version if you have it, if you have a Wii U. But if you don't, it's a really cool little game. I love it. You got to be in the puzzle platformers, I would guess. But I love that game. So I get it. Maybe get the 3DS version if you still play your 3DS like that. So, all right. Zombie U to the Switch. Yeah, see? I was actually thinking about that the other day. I was like, what games would I like to see get some more shine? Zombie or Zombie U, it's a little half-baked. Like, it needed a little bit more to be all the way there as a game, or to make it great. I thought it was a good game, had some good ideas, but it just needed a little bit more. I think I almost kind of wish that it would have came out as Killer Freaks from Outer Space like it was going to, instead of that, because they took a year basically. Ubisoft did, and changed the game completely, basically the premise, and put out Zombie U. And so you can tell that Zombie U didn't have enough time in the oven to get all that toasty goodness, to quote Double Toasted. It didn't have have enough time to develop all those ideas into what it could have been, because it could have been a great game, could have been a great new series for Ubisoft. But it was kind of quickly kind of thrown together at the last minute. So, yeah, Laker Link. Here's my chat dropping again. Oh, here we go. Eric Timmer says, mine came with 2 discs and 1 case. Okay, yeah, all right. I guess that probably happened with some of them. So if you got the bundle, there was no download for it. The game came physically, says Nintendo. Okay. Y'all don't even know how badly I want more Zombie U, says Rob. Rule 2. That game is awesome. I can see where people would completely think it was great and awesome. Like I said, I thought it was a good game. But I felt like another year in development, it could have been a great game. So, but I did like it a lot. I played through it twice. So, here we go. I don't even know. Oh, I'm reading it again. Santiago, I'd rather they bring. Funny you say that. Wonderful 101. So I got a couple games here, because obviously we're getting Wii U ports to the Switch. That's not probably going to stop. And like I said, people think that I don't like Wii U ports. I just think there's certain Wii U ports that should come where others don't necessarily need to. So I pulled out Wonderful 101. Again, this game is going to be a little bit funny because unless you're in handheld mode with the Switch, you won't be able to draw like you can on the screen for Wii U. But obviously that's a method they can add, and they can also do pointer controls. So to me, which would be a little weaker, but it's an option. But this game definitely needs more shine, because at the time it came out on the Wii U sales were dead. I mean, they were stagnant. And I think that affected the sales of this game, which everybody who's played this game loves it. And so there is an audience, and obviously there's a bigger audience that this game deserves. I know a lot of people don't like this game because they felt like the series of Paper Mario was going in a different direction, and I totally get that. But I think, because you gotta remember, there's Paper Mario, and then there's the Mario and Luigi series. Shout out to Jonathan Reed for the $5 donation. Can I speak? Donation. Thanks, my man. Great channel, he says. Thank you very much. The series got a little bit lighter on the not content, but as far as like the gameplay. And there's things about this game I don't like, which is like having to paint your card every time and then flick it. The steps to play your hand basically in this game can be annoying, especially using the gamepad. But I think obviously you won't have that now. So they have to find a different way. It have to be button presses, and that'll make the game flow a little bit better, I think. But I like this game a lot. I thought it was awesome. I felt like it got a bad rep because it wasn't doing what basically Paper Mario and a Thousand Year Door, which is everybody's favorite, which I get. That was, more RPG than most of them. And this game was kind of a little bit light on the characters and all that kind of stuff. But I thought the humor in this game is great. I think it's funny, sometimes almost as funny as Thousand Year Door. So the humor is still in this one. So I would like to see this come back. I think this game sold maybe 100,000 copies, which is pretty sad for a first-party Nintendo title on any console. And then my game of the year for 2016, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE. Weird title, but a great Steam game. And don't believe the hype. People complain about the gamepad usage. I'm not going to buy this game if it comes to Switch, but if you haven't played this, I implore you to, because I like the controls on the Wii U better, because this game was built with the Wii U in mind. So the stuff that the gamepad does, I like better on the Wii U. You can't replicate that on Switch, but if you haven't played this game and it comes to Switch, buy it. Greatness. My game of the year, like I said, for 2016. So, yeah, going off in tangents, but that's basically, how I felt about the collection. If it comes, great. We'll see. It probably will come, though, to have some kind of, because, people want Mario. What's the building one? It's right behind me, isn't it? Yep. Yeah, people want. Is it up there? Yeah. People want Super Mario Maker on Switch, and it should be on Switch for sure. So, Terrell know what I'm talking about with that Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Let's see. I've been saying that for a while. 101 deserves more recognition. Yes, Santiago. Yes, it does. Wonderful 101 ending was way over the top. Oh, but that's what I love about that game, how over the top it is. It is a crazy Saturday morning cartoon. And some people don't get that when us old folks bring up Saturday morning cartoons, what that means. But it was just like mid to late 80s, early 90s to mid 90s. Saturday mornings was like, it was an event. And I remember I would wake up sometimes too late. For me, my taste, I'd wake up late, like 10:30 or something on a Saturday morning. I'd be so pissed because it's an event you don't want to miss. And I don't know how it is now because I'm old, and usually on Saturdays I sleep in. But it was a different. I gotta do a video about that because it was something about those Saturday mornings, man, when you were a kid in the late 80s, early 90s. It was good stuff. But like I said, since the Emulate Rogers leaks, no one Wii U port bothers me. It's when there are as many. You're right. Like this year has been kind of insane, and they were really close together. Like I've always said from the beginning, I didn't mind Wii U ports as long as we were getting new games. And this year, we're getting new games, but nothing like none of the new games we've been getting this year on Switch from Nintendo have been better than those Wii U games, those Wii U ports we've gotten. So that, to me, it kind of dampens it a little bit, and it takes away from the identity of the Wii U, which I feel like unfortunately the Wii U won't get its Dreamcast love, like, because I don't care what anybody says today, there was no love for the Dreamcast back in the day. It got beat up, slapped down, round and round. Obviously, there were a few games that came out on it that were great, that everybody wanted to play. If they didn't have a Dreamcast, they went over to other people's houses who had it, like Marvel Capcom 2, Soul Calibur, Crazy Tech, stuff like that. There was always those games that people knew about and they wanted to play Dreamcast for. But other than that, people didn't care about the Dreamcast. It wasn't until basically Sega died as a console maker that people started getting nostalgia for the Dreamcast. I was there. I was a grown man at the time. I remember. So I feel like Wii U won't get that moment because Switch is stealing it. Basically, it's taken its identity. It's taken the Wii U's identity, and that's kind of sad. I'm not mad about it, but I think it's kind of sad that it won't get that that Dreamcast nostalgia for it, because it had great games on it, but those games are coming to Switch now, so it kind of takes away from what the Wii U was. And as a historian of video games, like I am, it kind of saddened me a little bit. So, where am I? I was just about to mention the gamepad. I have the gamepad. It's fine with me, says Visor. How do you pronounce it? How do you say your name? I can spell it. Visor. Is it Visor Red Grunt, or is it Visored Grunt R34? I never knew how to say it. Okay, so Rob says I actually only was TMS on Wii U. I'm one of them gamepad boys. Gamepad boys, yeah. Retroactively. Retro Death, Tokyo Mirage, J-Pop, White. Shut up. I don't even want to hear what you got to say. I don't even want to hear it. No Filter says the fact that Tokyo Mirage Sessions was forgotten and gets ignored. I mean, it sold, I think, 200,000 copies at this point, which is, not bad for a late Wii U game, I guess. But, that game should be at least a million seller. So it definitely needs to be ported at some point. Tokyo Mirage Session isn't wife. Okay, you guys are going back with the wife. Great system until the PS2. What are you talking about? Oh, Dreamcast? Is that what you're talking about, Eric Timmer? Yeah, it was a great system beyond that for me, but because I never really gotten into PS2 that much, besides a few games. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is nice and all, but Papu Mario, Papu Mario Color Splash. Okay, comment section. If someone asks you why you, what would you say in response? Where are we? I remember the rumors of Nintendo buying Sega. Yeah, I remember that too. Okay, so just Visored Grunt. Okay, it's not Visor Red Grunt. It's Visored Grunt. Okay, like a visor, obviously. Okay, thanks. Rule 2 was supposed to want my iPads. Shadow Boxing, nice name. There has been rumors of Sony buying Nintendo, but then again, who doesn't want to buy Nintendo? Sony can afford to buy Nintendo. They're doing better. They're doing a lot better right now. But I think Nintendo is a $25 billion company, and Sony is a $40 billion company at this point. And we're talking all of Sony. Nintendo is just video games, and they're worth $25 billion or so. So they can't afford to buy Nintendo, and Nintendo would never sell to them. Not at this point. Why would they? There's been rumors. Did I read that already? It wasn't a great sales, but it deserved more. Yeah. Eric Timmer said Dreamcast. Okay. Microsoft tried to buy Nintendo. Yeah, that's true. And then when they couldn't do that, they just said, we'll take Rare and do nothing with it for 20 years. But when they couldn't buy Nintendo, they decided to buy Rare, and they thought they had something. They thought they had Donkey Kong. Morons. Falling asleep with all this JRPG talk. Too bad, Juice. Expand your horizons, man. Expand your horizons. Visored Grunt. My username is based on an anime called... Yeah. I should have known that. I mean, I don't know Bleach. I mean, I know of Bleach. I've seen that before, so I should have knew that. Visored's War Mask. Yeah, okay. Totally. Gotcha. I knew it was based off an anime, but I don't know Bleach. So look on the right side, or the right side. I can't read. Look on the bright side. At least the Wii U still has Xenoblade and Pikmin right now. That could change. I think Pikmin will probably stay. Pikmin 3 probably won't get ported, but who knows? But Xenoblade, I think it has a chance, especially with the love Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is getting on Switch. It's very possible. I mean, it's a game I wouldn't buy, but I wouldn't mind it coming to the Switch because it's a great game. Probably my favorite Xenoblade game, and I wouldn't mind it coming over. So, nice setup, like a true gamer hoarder. Are you talking about my? Yeah, it's funny because like it didn't start out this way, but the more games I pulled out and put on display, I just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, and it just this is what we have now. So, and my wall of amiibo. Let's see. I'm iffy on the whole ports thing. They did barely any GameCube. Yeah, that's what I would want more. I'd like to see some remasters from GameCube or Wii come to the Switch more than I want Wii U games. So that's what I'd rather see. So if that happens, that would be great. Actually, that's what I would have preferred this year, especially because I talked about, I'll get into that later. Man, I'll save that for later because that is a topic. So, unless they fell way short of the sales projections on Wii U, yeah, I mean most of the games probably did. So you could bring over all the Wii U's games at that point because I'm sure most of those games fell short. Who was that ugly blue character? The blue Blaze Shane, the Sonic the Hedgehog shade over here from Juice, as usual. Juice still addicted to Rocket Ball. Rocket Balls. I know, yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next topic here. Second to last topic, emulation entitlement. Emulation entitlement. People are freaking out. Oh my God! They're taking our ROMs that we're taking without paying for. Look, I don't know if I articulated it well enough in my video where I talked about it. I emulate. I have this Xbox over here. Is modded, and it has NES, Super NES, Sega Genesis, N64, which I would never play on an Xbox. But those other games are a little bit more acceptable because they're mostly 2D side scroller, but I would never play an N64 game on the Xbox because the controller just doesn't feel right. But I emulate. I have emulators on my computer, my desktop. It's not something I don't do. But my argument is crying about companies deciding, because look what's going on right now. I mean, we talked about ports and all that stuff, especially on Switch, but on everything. You have Sega coming out with the Sega Ages, and they're looking at their old portfolio. You have Konami probably doing the same thing soon with their stuff, because they don't make new games anymore. So why not bring back those old games? So you have all these companies that are looking into their backlogs or back catalogs and saying, hey, let's put those games out again. Look what's going on with the Switch with TurboGrafx 16 games that are coming over to the Switch for $7, $8. These companies want to make money on their old games. And if people are downloading them for nothing, then people aren't going to buy them again. Unless you're me, and I'll buy them again for sure if you give me a physical copy. But I should have pulled that out. Like my copy of, oh my gosh, what's the game? I can't remember the name of it right now. But it's a Super Nintendo PC era game that came out recently, and it had a physical copy. Nice. Help me out. Retro Death. Was it No, Clocked It probably. You know what I'm talking about, the Retro Death. The PC game with what is it called? Oh my gosh. Can't think of it. But anyway, companies are bringing back their old IPs. So especially like, you don't know what these people go. Remember when people were all upset about AM2R. AM2R, another Metroid 2 remake, which is phenomenal, by the way. It looks great, plays great, tough. It's a tough game. But people were really upset that Nintendo pulled that down. Oh, how could you? You should have hired them because, like Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega can't make a good game, a Sonic game anymore, so they need Christian Whitehead. Nintendo doesn't need to hire people. They should. It's a good thing to bring in people like that, but they don't need to hire people to make their old games good, a new version of their old games good again, because they're still a good software developer. So it's a little different. But people were all upset about AM2R and Nintendo pulling the plug on it. And then you realize, oh, Metroid Samus Returns is coming. So it's like, oh, people shut up about it, basically. So they were making their own remake of their game, which they have every right to do. And they didn't want people saying, oh, well, I just rather download this other guy's remake and not even buy it. And the game didn't sell. I don't think it sold that great. Oh, yes, thank you. Flashback. I should have had a flashback. Yeah, flashback. So these are old games that these companies are bringing back. I mean, again, look at Time Splitters 2 and 3 and the Time Splitter series. They're going to be bringing those games back. If you're out downloading them, you got them on your PC and you got all these mods that probably make it look better than what they're going to do, why would people buy it? So it's just companies have the right to protect their IPs. So like I said, if you're really overly concerned about emulation and what should happen and what's going to happen, go right now. These websites are still up. 99% of them are still up and they're out there. Go download everything you want right now and shut up. Be done with it. If you really want to archive and be a historian and save, and that's why you do it, not because you want to play free games, then go download stuff right now. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with people playing emulated games. My problem is when you get upset when companies go after these websites and say, no, we want to sell our games again and make money off of our old games. What's wrong with that? Like, I don't understand it. Like, and I feel like it's from people, a lot of times it's coming from people that haven't made something on their own. and expected, basically, because I my business and whatnot. I do videography, I do editing and all that stuff. I do motion graphics. I create stuff, and I look to get paid for it. So if you haven't done that, you don't see the value in something, I think. And so when these companies go out and they want to protect their stuff, they have value in it. You know, they want to protect their product. It's their product, and you want to get paid for your product, right? I mean, you don't want to build a chair and have somebody, you know, steal your mold and make their own chairs and give them away. You want to be able to sell your chair. And I mean, that's just, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, it was after, what is it, Napster? Was that the first big site to do this stuff? After that, the mentality of people changed, and they just didn't see the value or didn't care about companies making money. Like, people don't like when you steal from the little guy, but it's fine to steal from the big guy. And I just don't get that, because there's a lot of little guys that make up that big guy. It's not some autonomous, you know, entity somewhere. There's a bunch of small people who get affected when you don't buy the stuff that they worked on. So if you want this industry to thrive and continue on, you got to support it, you know? And anytime I can buy, especially a physical copy of a game that I have emulated, I'm there. I buy it. And I'm actually a guy that doesn't care about Virtual Console, not because I have emulators and stuff, but because I just I don't find as much value in a ROM or a digital download that I find, obviously, physical copies. So that's just me. I mean, it's not just me. A lot of people feel that way. And that's why I feel like if we ever get to the point where digital is the only thing out there, I'm not going to be a gamer no more, man. Like, it won't have the same feel to me. So, all right. Look at you guys' comments here. I lost the chat for a minute, so that's why I was kind of rambling a little bit. How dare the police arrest bootleg runner in the corner? He's just trying to preserve movies, right? Exactly, Visor Grunt. Exactly. Night Trap. Yes, I pre-ordered Night Trap. And I'm going to, I wouldn't play the emulated version over a physical copy that I can put into my console. So definitely going to do that. Retro Death, but what about leaked games Nintendo never released? Look, again, Star Fox 2. I bought a, what do you call it, repro of Star Fox 2 before the SNES Mini. And, you know, I was happy to do that. Nintendo obviously didn't get any of that money. But the minute Star Fox 2 was available, I went out and bought an SNES Mini as well. So, yeah, I have no problem with emulation and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, yeah, some of these bigger sites are going to die off, but this is the internet. Nothing goes away. There's always a way. AM2R, they pulled it. Okay, I can go find AM2R right now and download it right now. So there's always going to be a way. What I'm saying is you can't be upset because it's not easy. You know, like it's not, you can't easily go out and download the stuff. They're making it harder. Oh, they're making it harder for me to get their free games, to get free games. Like, come on. That's your argument? Like, just be happy you got a venue to do that. And it's never going anywhere. Somebody has all the ROMs right now. And they'll always have them. And they back them up 3 or 4 times. And they'll have their private servers, or they'll have torrents. There'll always be a way to get this stuff. All I'm saying is stop complaining about companies making it harder to get that stuff. They have every right to say, you don't know their plans. You don't know their virtual console plans. You don't know what they plan to re-release Sega Ages and stuff like that. You don't know. So you can't get upset when they say, no, we might have plans. We don't want to tell you what those plans are because that's just our business model. We don't want to release that stuff too early, but they may have plans for their stuff. The stuff that you're complaining about not being able to get, you might be able to get from them. And if you don't, it's always going to be there on the internet. So don't worry about it. The Gamer Master 21, what up, T? What's the topic? Oh, this current topic is emulation and, you know, the whole Nintendo lawsuits and sites going down. I'm, you know, like I made a video about it. My argument basically is you're getting games for free. You can't complain about these companies making it harder for you to get those games for free. You'll still always be able to get them. So stop complaining. It's not that big a deal. If you really care, go out there right now. There's still a lot of big sites that have ROMs. Go download all the stuff. Put it on a hard drive, back it up on another hard drive, and be done with it. Okay? That's all I'm saying. I have no problem with emulating. I emulate myself. So, all right. So, let me knock my mic out of the way here. Let me go down a little bit. Nintendo can't kill emulation. No, they can't. You're right. You're right. They can't kill it. And that's all I'm saying. They can make it a little harder to get to, but they can't kill it. It's impossible. Did Philip Houston kill his apology video? His apology video? Is it gone forever from the YouTubes? Of course not. People archived it. It's the internet. It's never going to be completely gone. You guys are, what are you talking about here? iTunes. And they want Nintendo to compete with them. I don't know. I'm behind in that conversation, so I don't want to. It's just audio file. What are you talking about here? It's just my ears and some stuff. To me, sounds not as full and rich. Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about emulators, but some of the emulators aren't that great. And you have issues with audio, and because I didn't buy it. Well, I didn't buy it from me, but I bought that crappy Sega one, the plug and play. I forgot what it's called. I bought it for my cousin, and my brother, and for him and my mom, because they like to play the old stuff. And I bought it for them, and I played some of the games, and especially like you can tell a lot of games, the music is way off, the audio is terrible. Oh, you're talking about CDs versus digital? Okay, yeah. Well, you kind of sparked that out, me thinking about that with emulation, because people take this kind of purist kind of side to it. Think of if Rob Rule 2, if you're still here, Star Wars fan, think of the original Star Wars movies and how after a while George Lucas stopped releasing them. You couldn't get just the original without all the gobbledygook, all in the way, screaming for attention, all the visual effects that he threw into the special editions for Star Wars. You can't get them anywhere. And so there's a purist mentality for that stuff. So I have that thing too, where it's, if I can play it on hardware, like a video game console, I would rather do that. But if I can play it on the original hardware, that's what I'd rather do, because I have that purist kind of mentality when it comes to retro gaming. So like I said, I would never play N64 games on this Xbox because the controller doesn't work at all for me for those games. So I have a purist mentality when it comes to that. There's people love vinyl still. A lot of people love listening to vinyl. They love that vinyl sound, which I totally get. So even when you preserve some of these ROMs and things, you're not preserving them in their pure state, because the emulators aren't up to par, or the ROM itself isn't up to par, or so there'll never be a complete way to completely archive their very original idea. But I mean, that will always be there. Yeah, Nintendo's making it harder because you can't go to the big sites that have everything all in one place, nice and filed away for you. But you can still get all this stuff. I Googled it the other day, and I was like, ROM City. You know, like there's all kinds of ROM websites. And when if those can completely go away somehow, then there'll be torrents. So, you know, people are going to share their stuff, and nobody's going to be able to stop that. All right. Nice game routine. Thank you. It's it's not as big as I want it to be. Like you see the rest of it, but because it's open. That's one of my biggest problems. That's one of my biggest problems with live streaming. The reason I'm doing it tonight is because the wife and kids are away for the weekend, and I'm chilling. I was like, why don't I do a little live stream tonight? Because it's gonna be so quiet. Hang out with you guys and talk video games without like my daughter running around in the background screaming, or my son or whatever. He's actually pretty quiet, and she is too. But she likes to watch TV in the other room, and it will come in here. You can hear it because it's like an open area, so it's not closed off. But my next house, which we're working on, that will be an enclosed full game room, and you guys will get a complete 360 of that. And I'll be running around acting like a damn fool, doing my doing my generic tuber 78 to its fullest at that point. So that's when I'll be live streaming on a regular basis and all that good stuff. So yeah. So yeah. What do you got here? Eric Hernandez, speaking of emulation, do they have a perfect engine that emulates the console? What console? What console are you talking about? Or are you just talking about consoles in general? Some emulators work really well. A lot of times it just depends on the game. Because some games have like cartridges, basically. That's what this problem happens, is that some cartridges have specific hardware in the cartridge. Yes, like Super Nintendo, NES. Yeah, those are the main ones. And Sega Genesis also, where there's specific hardware in the cart itself. So it's hard to emulate that with a software emulator, because it doesn't have the ROM doesn't have the specifications to match the emulation software. So you'll get that funky music once in a while, or you get just like weird things happening in the game sometimes in certain areas, because it was built with certain ROM chips that came in the cart that you don't have access to, that affect sometimes gameplay, that affect frame rate, that affect music. Just like think of the Mario chip games, the Super FX chip games on Super Nintendo. Like sometimes those games don't emulate well. But sometimes they do. I haven't played it enough, but again, speaking of emulation, I bought a SNES Mini, and it is very easy to mod that thing and put what you want on it. To a certain extent, obviously, I think you have like 300 megabytes of space on the flash in the SNES Mini. I think it's 300 megabytes. So, you can only fit a certain amount of ROMs at one time. But right now on my SNES Mini, I have, what do I have? Like 150 games, and I still have like 100 megabytes of space. So it's that is very cool. Like, again, being able to play those ROMs using a Super Nintendo controller, a real Super Nintendo controller on, the SNES Mini, which is not a Super Nintendo, but it feels like it's a Nintendo product. And being able to play those games with the Super Nintendo controller on my SNES Mini is greatness. So I have no problem. For some reason, Yoshi's Island is not on SNES Mini, at least in the States. And I was like, that's crazy. Or Pilot Wings. So I was like, I went and downloaded it and put it on my SNES Mini. And it's a very easy process. So those 30 games, or actually 30 games on the NES Mini, 21 on the SNES Mini, right? 21, 22. with Star Fox 2. I have 150 games on it. I was playing one of my favorite Super Nintendo games, Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City. Don't sleep on that licensed game. That is a really fun game, really good game, with Michael Jordan throwing power basketballs, fire basketball, ice basketball. It's a cool game by Electronic Arts, believe it or not. Really good game. So I was playing that on my SNES Mini, and I loved it. So I have no problem with emulation. Surreal Entertainment. All this emulation talk is making me want to get a Game Boy Advance SP emulator. Oh, yeah, I have that too on the Xbox Game Boy Advance emulator. I don't really use that because I have my Game Boy player. My Game Boy player for GameCube. Again, when I can play the physical on hardware, I'd rather do that. I don't choose ROM over hardware. If I can get the hardware, I'm getting that. But if the hardware is not available, or if I can't get the cartridge or whatever, and then I'll go get the ROM. And even then, I don't play it all that much. There's way too many new games to play. But yeah, as far as me emulating games, I don't play much. If I go back, it's mostly retro gaming. It's me playing the hardware, the actual hardware, the old N64, you know, the Super Nintendo, all that stuff. I'd rather play on the actual hardware. All right, so Lurking Ghoul, McDonald has Super Mario Happy Meals. Again, I know they were there for a while, and then they stopped. They're back again. That's cool. Dragon Chi 26. Don't know if I'm alone in this, but I've found myself not wanting to emulate only because I want the genuine experience. Right. There is a sort of magic that makes exactly. It makes experience better if it's official. That's exactly how I feel. If I can get that original experience, I would rather do that. Some people don't get that. They don't understand it. It's like, why? Raspberry Pi. Not for me. I would rather, if I can, play it on the original hardware with a cart. It's just something about slapping that cartridge in, hitting the power button, having that controller in your hand that can't be emulated, at least for me. So I'm totally with you on that. Do you like Musu games? Yes, I do. On my channel, I think I talked about, I think back when on Wii U, I did a video about Musu games. Back when Wii U was out. What's the game? My gosh, I just had it. Oh yeah, Hyrule Warriors. When Hyrule Warriors was about to come out, I started talking about me being a fan of Musu. I pulled out Samurai Warriors 3 that I have. I even have Samurai Warriors on the Game Boy Advance. So yeah, I'm a fan of Musu. I don't always get them every time they come out, but I get them once in a while. I haven't gotten Fire Emblem Warriors yet, which I'm surprised. That's the game I'm going to probably pick up next. Because I haven't gotten that yet, but I'm deep in like, I'm trying to beat Xenoblade Chronicles 2 right now and Octopath Traveler. So I'm deep in those games. I want to put some more time in Skyrim. I just started playing Paladins. Like, there's a lot of stuff to play. So I haven't had the chance to get Fire Emblem Warriors yet, but I'll get it soon, but the next couple months or so, because there's not a lot of new things coming out that I care about. It's kind of sad. So let's go ahead and go into the last topic, because it's a good segue. Let me check these questions here first. I just picked up Warriors. Yeah, I got Warriors Orochi 3 for Switch. Yeah, or not Switch, for Wii U. The problem is a lot of these games are crazy expensive. Yes, you're right, Dr. Blue. You're completely right. I hate the fact that, and it kills me even more, Dr. Blue, that I owned a copy of. I need some water here. Hold on. I owned a copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga back in the day, the American version. And back in those days, I was a little younger. didn't see the value as much as I see in video games now. So I ended up trading it in, and I don't even remember what I got. I'm sure I was completely disappointed by what I got for it. But that game today, loose, like just getting the 4 discs, is $350, $400 just for the 4 discs. And if you want a complete copy, it's like $600, $700. So I completely understand that. But again, you can go get that stuff right now. I don't know much about Sega Saturn emulation because I know there's some issues with it because of the way Saturn was built. I think they just kind of cracked the code in the last year or so on the Saturn to get good emulators out there for it. But Saturn is one of those consoles, especially where emulation for it is tough, and a lot of the games on it are super expensive. And I totally get that. Like, if you just want to play the game, fine, go play it. Like, I totally get that. For me, if the physical copy is available, I'd rather spend the money on that, even like ridiculous amounts of money. But most of the Saturn games that I want that are expensive, I'll get at some point. There's not a lot. There's probably 10 to 15 to complete the collection that I want for my Saturn. And I have no problem with people emulating. I said that. I just only have a problem when people pitchfork for emulation. It's just like, that's weird because you're, obviously it's not literal theft, emulation. But in a way it is kind of literal theft. So I emulate, I partake in emulation. My thing is just, I'm not going to go pitchfork in the street for it because I know it's not legal. It's not legal to do so. I'm getting something for free. And yes, it's not available. I totally get that. And it should be available, but we're not entitled to it being available. That's all I'm saying. We're not entitled to that being available. And if you want to get it, you can still get it. But you shouldn't be out there marching in the gaming streets for it. That's all I'm saying. I want these companies that put everything, have a catalog for everything they have. But if they don't do it, I don't have a right to it. I don't have a right to own it if they don't do it. It sucks, but I don't have a right to it. And that's all I'm saying. I understand the frustration of not being able to play the games you want because they're not available or they're $8,000, but you can't you can't advocate for theft. Partake in the thievery, but don't advocate for it like it's your right. That's all I'm saying. So when AMTR got taken down, Nintendo announced Metroid Samus return shortly after. Do you think Nintendo was planning on releasing Virtual Console? Okay. I don't know. I think they said it won't be a traditional Virtual Console, but obviously they have that stuff coming out with the Nintendo Online, those NES games coming out for that. They obviously have the SNES Mini, NES Mini out there. So yeah, I do think eventually, if they're a smart company, which I think Nintendo is, I think eventually they will have a catalog for all their games. Isn't Sony? I don't think they're completely there yet, but they're doing it. Microsoft is like God tier when it comes to playing their old stuff because they're actively. You can go, buy. You don't have to rebuy the game or buy the game in retail. You can just go eBay it, and Amazon it and be able to play that game. Take that disc and put it in your Xbox One and it play. And it look better, like a lot better in some cases. That's awesome. Like, that's cool. I want everybody to do that. I'm not entitled to that, but I want everybody to do that. And I think that's what companies are doing. Like I said earlier, I think Sega, all these guys are like, people really love this retro stuff. People really love playing retro games. Let's make our damn money off of it. So I think a lot of these guys are gearing up for that. There's not a button they could press to make this stuff happen. Some companies should be there. Nintendo should be there. You know, that's one thing people complain about with Nintendo is like every generation they start from scratch. They start all over again, and it's silly and it's stupid, and I don't like it. And that's why I'm not as excited for Virtual Console, because I'm tired of rebuying the same games again, just to be able to play them on my new hardware. So, yes, I do think that's one reason why Nintendo's doing it, and I think other companies will start doing it too, some of the smaller ones, because they want to re-enlist that catalog of games and resell them to you the way TurboGrafx games are on Switch right now, and you got the Sega collection on PS4, Xbox One, PC, I think. So that stuff's happening. They see the value in it, and that's why they're kind of ramping up on they're trying to make it a little harder so you will buy their stuff. And so I don't see anything wrong with that. So all right, Gundam Musu, one of the best Musu games out. I haven't played that. Wish I had N64 and my Sega CD. Oh, you don't have them anymore, Lakey Link? Yeah. Actually, my Sega CD, I wasn't working. The one I had didn't work anymore. And a friend of mine was moving. He was trying to get rid of some stuff, and he had one. And I actually got some games from him and a new Sega CD that works, which is awesome. So I lucked out with that. And he also gave me some Saturn games as well that he had. So that was very cool. I got lucky with that stuff. So if you are entitled to nothing, you are nice. Where are we? Jazzy Jefferson, still waiting for online features rather than NES games. Yes, me too, Jazzy Jefferson. Since I know a lot of people are getting it just to play Ultimate with friends online. Right, so that's what most people, at this point, what Nintendo's offering as far as incentives for online is not good enough. I mean, it's only $20 a year, which is great, but if all I'm getting for it is SNES or NES games that have kind of weird online stuff, I know there's some other little things, that's just not enough. I think there should be more incentives there. They need to lay it out better and tell us what we're actually getting. That's going to make us, want to partake and be excited for the online. And build from here. Nintendo, next console, you can't start from scratch again. So I'm not tired of sleepy or anything, guys. I got fans blowing me, right in my face. And so they're drying my eyes. So what do you think? What do you think of the Walking Dead Telltale series? You'd think I would be into that series because I am a fan of point-and-click adventures, but it's something about the Telltale engine that I don't like. There's something about that. I don't know what it is. I'm not a fan of its aesthetics. But I hear they're really good, especially The Walking Dead. I would probably never play any of the other ones, but I think I'm eventually gonna get The Walking Dead series at some point. I think they're about finished with it, right? They're releasing the last season or something soon, or they just did it or something. So a Telltale series, that's the one I would get out of all of them, and I'm pretty sure I'll pick it up at some point because they're just now finished. The thing about that stuff is that I don't like buying into seasons and waiting. So it happened with one of my favorite series that I thought was coming to Wii U. It was slated to come to Wii U at one point, and I did a video on it. Was Dreamfall Chapters, and I guess because of the sales of the Wii U, it didn't come out. But they released, press release, talking about it, and they announced that it was coming to Wii U. But Wii U didn't sell well, obviously, so Dreamfall Chapters didn't come. So I didn't jump into Dreamfall Chapters because it came out in chapters, and the series didn't do that before. I played The Longest Journey, the original PC game, came out in '99. Loved that game. I played Dreamfall, The Longest Journey I think I played it on Xbox OG first, and then I played it on PC. Love that series. It wasn't chopped up. And then we got the Dreamfall chapters, and they chopped it up. And I get it. It was a business decision. They didn't have the publisher behind them at that point, and they wanted to make a new game. And I'm loving it. I'm playing it right now, actually, and it's finished. It has all the chapters. It's done. And I'm just blown away by how familiar it is, because I wasn't sure it would be. But I love Dreamfall chapters. So I tend to want to wait until all the stuff is out, because I don't like waiting, especially in a game like that where it's very story driven and having to wait. I hate doing that. That's why I sometimes wait to the end of the season for a lot of shows I like, because I hate having to wait to the next week. But yeah, I mean, I like playing that kind of stuff too. All right, we're gonna get to our last topic here real quick. I'm just gonna read some more from you guys. Do you mean is that for me? Stupid for that. No, I don't think that's for me. Yeah, I went too far. If we can get Doom or on Switch, we can get Mario Kart Double Dash, Sunshine, and other greats on. Right. Like, wouldn't that be more exciting to you guys if instead of, Super Mario Brothers 3, we got Mario Kart Double Dash, or all those cool Mario sports titles that came out for GameCube, or even go to the N64. A lot of those games were built around multiplayer. When you like to play them online, when you like to play those games online, wouldn't that be a better incentive to buy into Nintendo's online if you could play N64 games and up, GameCube games online? We don't have Wii online anymore. Wouldn't it be cool if we could play those Wii games that were on, online, like Conduit 2 and stuff like that? And hell, Super Smash Brothers Brawl, the online on the Wii was pretty atrocious. Would be cool. Obviously, they wouldn't do it this year because we got Ultimate coming out. But wouldn't it be cool at some point if you could play Brawl and play really fun matches in Brawl online, where you couldn't do that consistently before? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be more of an incentive? If you could play F-Zero GX online, 30 players, wouldn't that be awesome? And that, it's feasible. If Overwatch is feasible, certainly we can play a GameCube game online on the Switch. And that's the stuff that I thought before this year happened that we would see. I was hoping this year would be a big nostalgia year. Not 2017 nostalgia for 2017 games from the other consoles, but Nintendo nostalgia. I thought we might get surprise announcements like an F-Zero or Wave Race. Wave Race, 64 or Blue Storm online for Nintendo's online setup. Wouldn't that be great? But we get Mario Brothers 3. I mean, I love Mario Brothers 3, but I'm not excited to play that online. It's just it's not doing it for me. So let me read some of you guys' comments here. Think of the visual novels like 999, or I don't really do visual novels. You think I would, but they never really hold me. So I don't have a lot of experience with them. All Nintendo needs to do is make Saturn Dreamcast. Oh my gosh, right? Like a Saturn, when that's up to Sega. But like Dreamcast VC, Saturn VC. I mean, take my wallet and give me back how much money you think I should have. Like that would be great. Devs at Telltale say that use the episodic approach because if episode 1 does badly, they'll cut. Yeah, okay. It's a like I said, it's a business thing. If it doesn't sell well and you made all these episodes, you're screwed. So I get it. I have no problem with that approach. It's just that for me, I hate waiting. So I hate waiting, so I wait for them all to come out. Love me some Double Dash Best Mario Kart ever, if you ask me. For me, I totally get where you're coming from. I'm not sure on that. I think I used to feel that way, but I'm not so sure anymore. Mario Kart DS is like my favorite at this point, but it's for specific reasons. It's for memories, and I convinced, like, Nintendo should cut me a check, because I convinced, like, a job I was working at the time. I was running a grocery store and I was going to college, and I convinced like 4 of my coworkers to buy a DS, because we can, you did the download play on Mario Kart DS, so all you needed was 1 cartridge. So we play each other in the break room. Those were great times. 1 cartridge. I had the cart, and everybody would download play from my cart, and it was great stuff, man. Great times. I always wanted a Saturn. Yeah, they're not that expensive. You can pick up a Saturn for about $50, I think. Yeah, the console itself. I own like 3 Saturns because I'm paranoid. I have my original Saturn, and that's one of the things I got from my friend. I boxed Sega Saturn. I have 2 Saturn. I had 2 Saturns. I feel like I had 4. No, I had 4. I got 2 from him. I got a boxed one and a loose one, and I gave that to a friend. I gave that to another friend, the loose Sega Saturn. And I had 2. I had the original, and I bought another one like 5 years ago, 6 years ago or something, as a backup. And then I ended up getting donated 2 more. So I have 3 because I gave one of those away. But yeah, not that expensive, just those damn games. And the cool thing, though, is that if you just want to play the games, and they're not like text-heavy games, you can get, on the Saturn, you can get the Japanese version for 1/3 of the price a lot of the times, especially the more expensive games. Like, say, Panzer Dragoon. Well, that's a very text-heavy game. No, not 1 and 2 aren't. So let's say Panzer Dragoon's Way. I think that's probably a $60 game. You can get Zwei Japanese import for 20, 25. So that's an option. If you just care about playing it, if you're not about collecting, you need the American version or whatever, you need the Western version, and you don't care about that stuff. So you definitely want to get the expansion, the RAM expansion cart that goes in the back. That when it first came out, I thought that was for Sega Genesis cartridges, and I thought that was going to be great. And that's what they should have done. But no, it's for adding more RAM. It's for, is it 2 megabytes? 4 megabytes. I can't remember. But it has more RAM so you can play the Japanese games. And that's all you really need to emulate, or not emulate, but to import Japanese games for your Saturn. My favorite point-and-click game is called The Dig, and it's on Steam. I heard of that. Dragon Chi. I highly recommend that. Yeah, I actually think it's on my wish list. I do remember The Dig. So I'm excited for Broken Sword 5 on the Switch next month. Cool. Rock, yeah. Dr. Blue, I feel my soul won't rest after I die if I don't get to see MDK2 HD. Yeah, those are great games. I think they were on PC as well, but they're also on Dreamcast, or at least MDK2 is. I don't know if 3 is. Let's see. Did you buy Flipping Death? No. I will. Again, I have too much to play right now. I will get it though because I like that development studio. They made some of my favorite games on Wii. What was the game on Wii that I like? The Core Gang. I love the Core Gang on Wii. And the same studio that made that, and they made, what's the game they made that came out during the Wii U era? I like that game too. I can't think of the name of it. It's very similar in style, visual style. All the games are kind of similar in that visual style. But what about 2018 lineup? Okay, yeah, we're getting to that now. Final topic. 2018 lineup for Nintendo is lackluster. Again, it's Nintendo. And Terrell did a video, and I want to answer a question he had. He answered it, but I want to put my own answer on it. And he said, he's basically saying, you know, he agreed that the output from Nintendo this year has been lackluster, but we got all these games. So what? For a core Nintendo fan, a hardcore, diehard Nintendo fan, I already played all these ports, right? So I buy a Nintendo console for Nintendo games, and everything else that comes is a bonus. And so if I'm looking at this year as a core Nintendo fan, hardcore Nintendo fan who loves Nintendo games, Nintendo style of games, what they have new this year is Kirby, which I like a lot. But it's pretty paint by numbers, not as good as the 3DS games. Pretty easy. Which, you know, Kirby games aren't hard or anything, but it's really easy. And then we have, what's the next new game? Mario Tennis Aces, which I was looking forward to until we got the test it out, and I saw the spammy nature, the people taking advantage of not glitches, but gameplay quirks in the game with certain characters. And then the one thing I was looking forward to, which was the single player aspect of it, I thought it was going to be robust, harkening back to the Game Boy Advance game, and it wasn't. It's like 3 hours or something, I heard. And then, you know, so it's mostly a online multiplayer game, which is great. I have a lot of those. Fortnite came out. It's, you know, that's free. Paladins is free now. Well, it's always free. It's just it was often the $30 package, only on Switch at first. Rocket League. I would just rather play those, you know, like over Mario Tennis online because of the issues I have with it, and its setup, online setup after ARMS is unacceptable to me. Like I can't go back to that. So it underwhelmed me, and I ended up not getting it. And like I said, Kirby was okay. And then you have Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee coming later. It's not out yet, but it's coming. And is it core? Is it not core? Look, it's a reimagining of Pokemon Yellow, which I get. And this, you know, you're back in Kanto, you have all these things that you remember from that game. But it's not overall a core mechanically Pokemon game. It's adding in some of the cell phone stuff from Pokemon Go. So it's going to do well, I think. I'm going to buy it. But I'm not overly super excited about it. I'm kind of more excited about the Pokeball Plus than I am the game itself. And then obviously Smash, that comes out in December. So the game I'm most excited for on the Nintendo side in 2018 comes out in December of 2018, almost 2019. And again, for a guy who, even on the Wii U, it's last year, I got Color Splash, I got Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I got Star Fox Zero. You know, some people, you know, don't like it. I like it a lot. It obviously harkens back to N64. And we got the HD remaster of Twilight Princess. The last year of the Wii U. basically, last full year. And so looking even at the Wii U output, as far as big exclusive or big Nintendo game per year, this doesn't stack up. Now, obviously, there's way more other games to play, but again, as I'm speaking from core Nintendo fan who loves that Nintendo magic, you know, just love that magic. As that guy, I'm being well underserved this year. And even when I do get served, in the last month of the year, it's Smash, which I love, but the core of Smash, I know what to expect. Sure, there's icing all around it. There's new things. There's a mode we don't even know about yet, and maybe more stuff. And character reveals, great. But what I'm saying is, the core of Smash, I know how that's going to feel. You know, I know what that's going to be about. And it's good. It's great many times. But I'm not, it doesn't overly move me at the end of the day, at the end of the year. So I just said, as a Nintendo fan, a core Nintendo fan, I'm being well underserved this year. Now, you could say, well, you know, obviously there's a lot of other things to play, but I've always had a lot of other things to play. I'm a multi-console owner. I've always been. So the Switch-only guy, you're like, shut up. What you talking about? There's all this stuff to play. Well, I've always had all that stuff to play. So that doesn't overly move me. I want that Nintendo magic. And they had plenty of opportunity to deliver that to me and deliver it to the other guys who would be just as happy. You telling me you wouldn't be just as happy or happier with F-Zero GX HD remaster as you would be with Kirby or even Wave Race HD remaster? Like, I think a lot of more people would have probably jumped into that. Even with it being a remaster. So, you know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if your main goal is to. Oh, I'm getting PE bombed right now. Is this stream over with? Welcome, guys. Welcome. Thank you for PE rating me. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not getting enough Nintendo magic this year. Last year, I'm not even comparing it. So that's what people will say. Oh, 2017. That's not a year. You know, that's once in a lifetime type of stuff that happened. Yeah, I get that. Like, you're not gonna get basic. We got 3 Game of the Year contenders, solid Game of the Year contenders last year, and that's not gonna happen from one software developer. They won Software Developer of the Year, I think, right? Nintendo did last year. That's not gonna happen every year. I'm not asking for that. But give me something, you know, just a little something every year, and not have it be at the end of the damn year. That kind of kills it for me. Like I should be more excited for Smash, but because of all the dressing, I can't be as excited for it, you know, as I could be. You know, who doesn't want Metroid Prime HD Deluxe Collection? Who doesn't want that? Like, who would say no? I don't want that. None of us, I don't think, would say that. And especially with Prime 4 coming, we think next year, would be a nice way to, at the end of this year, say to those guys, if you haven't played these other games, here's your opportunity. You know, they basically did that with Bayonetta, 2, 1 and 2 on Switch. With Prime coming, why not offer that up? Obviously, that's something that can still happen. But why, if it hasn't happened yet, why is it a secret? That's not something you need to keep close to the vest. It's a remaster. So that's all I was saying. But let me read some of you guys'. I got a lot of PE raid, comments in here. Let me see if I can find. What are you talking about, Juice? You said as YouTubers, we need to. Oh, you're talking to Terrell. What's up, chat? It says Keg. P-Raid, what up? What up, P-Raid? Does anybody have a comment to what I'm talking about? That's not P-Rating. Andre Wine, are you excited for D3? For some reason, I'm blank. D3. What's D3? I know I'm going to feel ashamed in a couple of seconds here. Diablo 3. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for Diablo 3. I'm going to get Diablo 3. Yeah, if you joined late, you probably missed the part where I talked about that. Actually, I don't know if I said I was going to get it or not, but I'm going to get it because I haven't played Diablo 3. I feel like I played it a little bit on PS3. I'm sure I did. But from what I remember, the PS3 version wasn't very good. But yeah, and it has the DLC. Yeah, I'm totally going to get that game. So it's on your title. Yeah, well, you abbreviated it, so I wasn't sure. Peeps buy Diablo 3. It's well worth. Yeah, it's an action RPG basically. Obviously, it has that kind of top-down aesthetic, that kind of dungeon crawler classic aesthetic to it. But it's got some really nice effects going on in it, and it's just, they're really good games, Diablo games. So you guys should definitely support it. I'm going to tell you to buy it if it's not your thing, but I think most of you guys, if you like, I think if you're into Zelda and stuff, it's not like Zelda exactly, but there is some Zelda-like stuff in it. Obviously, that's why they're putting Ganondorf in it. So, because he does fit. So that's very cool, and that's a very smart thing to do. I think that helped Skyrim sell on Switch better when they added the Blink stuff, Breath of the Wild stuff, the Amiibo stuff, and I think that's going to help Diablo sell. I'm not sure it's going to need to help though. I think people will support Diablo 3 on Switch because it's another game that's perfect for the Switch. It's another style of game that works perfectly on the Switch. And handheld mode, like, there's going to be no corners cut. Sure, you won't get, I think it's 960p or some weird resolution like that. But you're going to get, if you bought it on a PS3, I think it was 540p. So it's not, it's not like it's not better than that version. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But I think it's going to be cool. So, yeah, but, basically what I was saying about how it works, or how it's worked out this year for Nintendo games on Switch this year hasn't been that great. But yes, third party has had its time to shine, and I'm not sure, Nintendo would have hurt it too much with certain games or whatever, too much, because that's always been a thing that Nintendo games kind of overshadow third party on Nintendo consoles. So I get that, but I'm not sure it would have hurt too much on Switch. I think Switch has a different audience. There's the core Nintendo fans that are there. There's a lot of Wii U fans that still haven't bought a Switch yet. Believe it or not, I see it all the time in my comments. Like, I'm not ready to get in, and some big Wii U fans that aren't that happy with their Switches at this point, which I totally get. Especially if you're one of the Wii U fans, and you didn't like. I think it's weird, but you didn't like Mario as much. If you didn't like Zelda as much on Switch, and you're a Wii U guy, maybe you're a little bit underwhelmed with the Switch at this point because trying to resell you the games you already had. And if you're a multi-console guy, a lot of these games that are coming out for it, you already had a chance to buy if you cared about it. So there's that side of the argument. But if you're all in Nintendo guy, Switch guy, then and you don't have all those other consoles, Switch is probably the greatest console of all time to you right now. So I totally see that side too. So let me read some of you guys' comments here. D3 is hella worth the money, says Dragon Chi. Totally, I think so too, with the expansion packs especially. And I think the Switch version is going to be pretty cool. As soon as I saw the Switch, I was like, yep, getting back into Nintendo, And that's happened a lot. A lot of people skip the Wii U. And so I understand the ports. Again, I understand the ports. But I'm just saying, from my perspective, Switch's year this year isn't overly exciting because I've already played that stuff. We do have a few months before the fiscal year ends. It is by March 2019. I'm not too worried about Diablo 3. Keep me busy for a good while. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to play, and they're still mentioning new games coming out. I'm excited for. I haven't talked about it too much yet, but Diamond Cross Machina. I'm excited for that game. That's an exclusive, but that's next year. And a couple of the exclusives that were going to come out this year got pushed into next year, and that also hampered my excitement. Like Fire Emblem got pushed, Yoshi got pushed. Is there something else? Probably not. I think most people were thinking that Shin Megami Tensei was going to come out this year as well, but that's not going to happen. And there's still Dragon Quest XI coming, and I'm sure that's going to be announced soon. I think they said Tokyo Game Show, they were going to talk about that, possibly. So there's stuff, man. There's stuff to play. Blizzard Master Race, says AG the Great. Juice, how much would Fire Emblem and Yoshi have helped 2018 lineup? Yep, I just said it. It would have helped a whole lot. It would definitely. I wouldn't be crying about. I wouldn't be crying about the underwhelming Nintendo 2018 had Fire Emblem and Yoshi dropped. So I think that says something. I played Heart and Soul 72. I played at launch and X-Pack, and the rifts and seasons keep things fresh. Okay. Dragon Chi again, as a longtime super passionate Diablo fan collector since D1 in '97. This is a day one purchase. I'm stoked as hell. Very cool. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be a different type of audience that brings. And a lot of people missed it on 360 and PS3 because it came out late. I think it came out pretty late in those life cycles. And then, yeah, it's on PS4 and Xbox One, but people probably weren't checking for it because, that game already came out. So it didn't get as much shine probably. But on the Switch, there's a lot of fans that probably never even played Diablo before. So, and that's been happening on the Switch a lot, where these games are very new to a lot of people, and companies are recognizing that. So I'm also wanting Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. Heard of that game. I haven't played that. Bimor Kuma said, we have some positives, though. Our wallets isn't. Yeah, that's true. That is a positive. You only have so much money to play games with. I try to budget, roughly $1,500 a year, but sometimes I go over that, and the wallet is, happier when it's not as much. There are positives, like I said, the positives are these games get shine that, maybe didn't get shine even on other consoles. Like I said, I think Diablo 3, I don't know what the sales are on console. I'm sure it did better on PC. I'm sure the Xbox One PS4 version didn't do all that great. So, when games come out on Switch, these feel like new games to a lot of people. So I get that. Nothing says Nintendo really tried hard for the Switch. the biggest, if Nintendo really tried hard for the Switch, period. I think there's a typo in there. The biggest, most family-friendly moneymaker for the Switch, hands down, HD remake port of Wii Sports Resort, in my opinion. I don't know, because it won't work as well without the camera. Or the IR sensor, not camera. Without the IR sensor. Because if you played any porno games on Switch, they're not as intuitive as they were on Wii Motion Plus. Because they had the IR sensor that it was using. So it's just basically motion controls. It's what's the technical term for it? What is it? A gyroscope. So it's not as intuitive as your controller pointing and then reading your sensor bar reading it. So because I played, what's that Wii game that they released on the eShop? It's like a what is it? It's like a puzzle game with World of Goo. Like World of Goo. It doesn't feel as good. You're right, Linky Link. It doesn't feel as good. So it won't. Wii Sports, I think, would be too high impact for a port. Because it's too much Twitch stuff. Like if it's overly twitchy, it's going to be hard to replicate that using the Wii U the motion from the Joy-Con. So just keep that in mind. But some games will work. Some of the slower paced games will work. I mean, World of Goo doesn't feel as good, but it works because it's a slower paced game. But some stuff that's do Twitch-like movements and stuff, not so sure. I'm wondering about how Mario Tennis plays motion controls. I should check that out. If anybody knows, let me know. 900K on Xbox. What are you talking about, Juice? What sold that? What about Galaxy? See, I think Galaxy 1 and 2 port HD would work because none of the star bit collecting, none of that stuff was overly Twitch based. It wasn't like a fast paced thing, so that would work. Trying to think what other motion. It's like spin moves and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you can do that with the. The Joy-Con controller. You can do that with motion controls on Switch. Anything in Galaxy, I think. They already have it. Well, they don't have it, but they have it for the Chinese market on the Tegra tablet. But people emulate that game as well on computer, and they map that stuff to controls. So that game would work a lot better because it's not fast-paced, Twitch-based stuff like, say, a shooter would be from Wii coming over. I don't think shooters would work as well. All right, World of Goo. Yeah, World of Goo don't feel nearly as good on Switch as it does on Wii. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all my topics. If you guys want to throw some more questions at me, I'll wrap it up pretty soon here. I think I started, I had a false start, but I think I started around, 9? So we're over 2 hours in. So, but yeah, I mean, that's basically it. So yeah, I want to do new things on my channel. It's one of the reasons I want to come on camera, because I could do stuff like generic tuber 78. I could do stuff like that a lot more naturally on camera, and that's the kind of stuff you can look forward to. Again, shout out to, I forget who it was. I did shout him out at the time for the $5 donation. And yeah, if you guys want to throw me a tip, that's great. But yeah, like I want to do more interactive stuff, like live streams and stuff. And it's hard. You can't do that if you're not coming on camera. So it's one of the reasons I want to come on. And I want to do skit-based stuff and more skit-based things. And I'm working on like a kind of a, we call it blueprints for where I want my channel to go and stuff like that. So I'm going to make a push. I'm making a push to get a little bit more serious with the channel. So definitely make sure you like the stream. Obviously that helps. Share it if you can. Videos obviously do the same thing. Hit the like button, folks. Hit the like button. Smash the like button. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff and a lot more stuff consistently. I'm thinking where I want to do. I started T News over a year ago. That hasn't been consistent. I want to be more consistent with that stuff. I want to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday T News, and so I want to make a schedule and be able to stick to it. So I'll be able to stick to it more when I move and get into my big office. So that'll be my most consistent, but I'm going to start getting more consistent. I can't promise every Friday for live streams right now. I'm going to move it to Thursday, I think, because while I love the PE raids, we're basically competing against each other because we have a lot of the same subscribers and stuff. He obviously has more than me, so it hurts me a lot more. So I'm going to move to another day. But yeah, like be looking forward to more content, more varied stuff from me. I hope you guys are liking some of the new stuff, new direction. And I'm just going to add more. Like I want to do more documentaries, gaming-based documentaries, obviously. Like the Star Fox when I did it. It's one of my favorite videos, and it's one of my most popular videos. But that's not why I want to do it. I want to do it because I had a lot of fun putting that together. And I want to do stuff for more series that I love in gaming. And I want to do my own Icons. Remember Icons from G4? I love that show. And I want to do like my version of Icons. So all right, let me see. Got some more questions in here and then we'll get out. Let's see. AG the Great asks, do I think Monster Hunter World will ever hit the Switch? Probably not. Only because it's Capcom. Like, I don't know if Capcom has the resources or the acumen to put that game on Switch. Like, it's funny because I hear some people say, well, Capcom's going to put, obviously this is a port, Monster Hunter World, or not Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Double Cross ports coming, generations. And some people are saying, oh, after that, we're going to get a Switch-specific Monster Hunter. I'm like, what? Where's that confidence coming from? Where is Capcom going to put a Switch-only specific Monster Hunter game out there? Like, I didn't think they had the resources for that. Look how long it took them to do Worlds. And the only reason they were confident enough to do that is because they had 3 consoles to put it on. I'm not expecting them to make a game solely for Switch. That's going to be, more. That's going to be maybe close visually to Monster Hunter Worlds. It's going to cause, resource. It's going to hog a lot of resources. I don't know at this point that'll ever happen. Maybe 3-4 years down the line. At that point, I won't care. So, what game would you want the most on Switch, retro or new? That question comes up a lot. How about I do both? Retro would probably be I said it 1,000 times. An F-Zero game. Well, actually, I mean, I guess I would want a new F-Zero game, so I guess that falls into both. HD remaster of GX would be great with online, but I wouldn't mind a new a new F-Zero, or Pilot Wings, or excuse me, or Wave Race. You know, they can dig into their back catalog. What's the game? Eternal Darkness. A new one of those. I really don't want a remaster of that. I want a new one. So, I mean, we could be here all night. I can knock off games I can tell you about games that I'd like to see. But, I mean, there's a lot. So, you can mukbangs. I don't know what games would you. Oh, I just said that. I just read that. I'm linking. Dragon Chi. If you're wondering about Pillars of Eternity, it's essentially a spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate. Okay, cool. Definitely, we'll have to check that out then because I love Baldur's Gate. Bring the topic of possibility of Overwatch for Switch. We talked about that a little earlier. Nothing. I think it will come. I think if they had a little bit more confidence, it would already be here. But you know, at this point, I think it definitely will come. I just read that. All right, so AG the Great. I'd love more fighters. We're getting a lot of fighters this year. That's one thing we are getting on the Switch. There's a lot of fighters, so hang in there. They're coming. I would like to see Tekken, personally, and Soul Calibur. You know, I would like to see those games come over, and I think they will. So, Laker Link, brand new Eternal Champions. Ha! Don't do it. That would be great. Brand new Eternal Champions would be awesome. Like, that's the one thing that's good about this era we're living in right now. With these companies realizing retro is big, is that you're going to see companies start digging into their catalogs a lot more. I also wouldn't mind another. I mean, I did a video on Sega games I would like to see, and Jet Set Radio, or Jet Grind Radio. I'd like to see that come back. Where is that game that was going to come out on Wii U? I think it came out on everything else. That was like a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio. What was it called? Had that same kind of visual style of Jet Grind Radio. Something Battle for something, or what was that game with the inline skate game? You guys remember? No, not Floor Kids. I don't know if you're answering me, but no, it was can't remember the name of it. Pocket Rumble and Skull Curls and SNK Heroines and Dragon Ball. Exactly, Heart and Soul. A lot. How would you feel if Blizzard releases Overwatch for the Switch this fall? That would be cool. I mean, I'm not like, what would you say? I'm not pining for Overwatch, but it's a popular game and it looks cool. And I'm getting into Paladins, and I hear all the time how similar they are in many ways. They're like hero shooters. So, yeah, it'd be cool. Like, it would be the more games that Switch gets like that, the more it's rubbing shoulders with the big boys. You know, it's like the more stature it will receive. So I'm all for that. Hover, thank you. Hover, Revolt of Gamers. Lake and Link, man, you on the money, man. I'm glad. That's why I'm glad you show up for these things, because you you help me out. for some reason, when the camera comes on, my brain goes blank on this stuff a lot. I don't know what it is, but yeah, Revolt Hover game it's slated to come out this year, I believe. So I'm looking forward to that. It's out on other consoles and PC, I believe, already. So still waiting for my Switch version. They said it was coming. Yeah, that's what I just said. They said it was coming this year, so it probably in the next few months it'll probably pop up. You know how they do, a couple days out, and it's Nintendo Switch titty flops. Handle Terry Bogard and SNK Heroines. Apparently it can, Tony. Apparently it can. So that was a very interesting reveal, I must say. But yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank all you guys for showing up. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing more stuff like this, more stuff like my last video. Go check it out if you haven't already. I had a lot of fun making that, so check it out. And I just want to get. I was getting bored. I'm getting bored. I was getting bored of my channel. It's like I can have a lot more fun. Why am I not having fun? I started turning into what I didn't like, as far as like instead of just talking about my own ideas and having my own fun, I started becoming like the police to YouTube channels. It's just like, why waste my time? Because my channel's so small, not enough people are gonna hear what I'm talking about anyway. Just have fun, do your thing. So that's what I'm gonna focus on now. So I want N64 Classic Collection, N64 Classic Edition. I think that's gonna happen. And the question is, will they give us the original N64 controller? Because you don't need everything that controller does today. Like, you won't need the memory card slot. Excuse me. But are they going to add Rumble to it? What is that going to do to the price of the system? If they have an N64 sized controller with Rumble in it, what is it going to do to that? And then it's like, N64 I love, but as far as what Nintendo first party, I mean, you know what those games are already. You already know what that list's going to be. Because N64 was a very streamlined console as far as the genres and what was big on it. Platformers, shooters, racing games. That's what the N64 was mostly about. And some fighters, 3D fighters. So that's most of the genres you're going to get. But the problem with the N64 is that today, a lot of that early 3D control stuff might be too janky for people. So it's just like, you're going to have to mostly line that collection up with Nintendo games, because those are the best controlling games in that era. And then, pick your third party here. Now, what third parties are they going to do? They're going to do like Mortal Kombat, probably. It was on the N64, Mortal Kombat Trilogy. What third-party games are you going to add to it that stand out? There's not a lot of third-party games that are like standout games on the N64. That's like, oh yeah, remember that game from blah 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 blah? And then it's like a lot of it's like licensing stuff too, because a lot of these companies in that era aren't even around anymore. Like, who has the rights to stuff? Like didn't Crytek have the rights to Time Splitters or something? Like, I had no idea. Like, you just don't know. So I'm sure it's probably a licensing nightmare too for a lot of this stuff. So, but yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Definitely put the WCW. Yeah, see, again, that's a licensing thing. They're gonna have to get with WWE, and who has that license? Is that 2K? Like, are they gonna go through WWE and 2K to get those games? Like, I don't know who's gonna So you're gonna run into that stuff. Superman 64. No. Doom 64. That's a good one. Doom 64. Knack 64. THQ has time splitters. Yeah, I know. That's what I said. THQ has time splitters now, but they had to get it from Crytek, I think. It's like, how did Crytek have time splitters? I didn't know that was. I didn't know, and they obviously did nothing with it. So it's just you don't know who has the rights to that stuff now. Look, like again, Turok. Who has the rights to Turok? Like, because those games should be on the N64 Classic, I think. But who has the rights to it? I don't know. Anybody? I don't know. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for coming to my first episode of Tea Talk, the new Tea Talk, because like I said, the old Tea Talk was just podcast. And this is basically a podcast too, but it's interactive with the subscribers, so it's different. But so Tea Talk going forward will be this. Tea Talk will be this, and Tea Bag will be me like live streaming games. So that'll be the difference. So Tea Bag will be me live streaming games and talking to you guys similar to this, but Tea Talk will be topics and then questions and discussion and stuff. So, but yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. I appreciate all of you for showing up. Laker Link, Nothing, Heart and Soul 2, Santiago, AG the Great, Elbaz 8, Laker Link. If I hadn't said your name, I'm saying it again because you that dude. Tony. Who else was in here? Dragon Chi, SK Massive. King Boom 777. All you guys, thank you for showing up. I'll try to do one within the next couple weeks, if not next week. I might be able to do it next week, and it's probably going to be Thursday. It's either going to be Thursday or Saturday, and I know a lot of people probably streaming on Saturday and all that stuff too, so it'll probably be Thursday night, so I hope you guys can show up for that as well. So thank you guys again for showing up, coming by. If you're new, I don't think there's any new people in here, but if you're new, make sure you like and subscribe. Everybody, hit the like button, share the video. And thanks for coming out, guys. God bless you. Good night. It's a little Russell Simmons for you there. Thank you, guys. And one more thing. Play Nintendo Fools. Peace out.